From the studios of Warren Tech North, this is Building Bright Futures, a Jeffco podcast with Jeffco Superintendent Dan McMenemy.
Hello, I'm Dan McMenemy, and this time we're going to take a close look at Warren Tech, a widely respected Jeffco resource designed to help students with career-focused learning. My guests are Warren Tech Principal Joe Shaw and Warren Tech North Assistant Principal Heather Keaton. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Joe, I'd like to start with some history. The roots of Warren Tech are very rich and interesting. Please talk about how this all started.
Well, back in the 1970s, Pi Warren, who was a School of Mines professor, approached the Board of Education that time to say that Jeffco schools need to have a career technical center. Him and Tom Murray, who Lakewood Brick and Tile, they then proceeded to secure the land that Warren Tech Central was built on from the federal government. It was a land grant given to Jeffco schools, part of the original bombing range for World War II back when the Fed Center was doing testing. That they then secured the funding, had the school built, and subsequently Pi Warren's legacy lives on in 2 campuses now.
You know, that's really cool, and I think one of the things that's the best about this is it's now expanded to other locations. But we know we have 2 career and technical ed centers. There's the main campus, and there's the Warren Tech North, where we're at right now, which is on the Arvada West High School campus. Joe, let's talk a little bit about what things are offered at the main campus.
So the main campus, of course, is the traditional heavy shops. We have auto body, welding, machining, power equipment, motorcycle technology, but then we also have self-contained programs like graphic design, TV video, cybersecurity, game design, outdoor leadership. But then we have a dental program, cosmetology, which is 3 separate programs, hairstyling, nail tech, and esthetician. And then, of course, culinary arts is a big one.
Which is my favorite. You
Right.
can go by the bakery. It's the 5 pounds a day you can get from them.
Right. And then we also have a STEM program. Really is a very involved STEM program that's part of our digital academy that encompasses TV video, game design, graphic design, computer science, etc.
Just excellent programs there at Warren Tech Central.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very well run programs and excellent teaching staff.
Heather, can you tell us what's offered here at Warren Tech North?
Absolutely. We are primarily a health and public safety campus. We do have one outlier program, which I'll talk about, but our public safety, we have criminal justice, we have forensic science, and we have emergency medical services. And then our health programs right now are sports medicine and then health and behavioral sciences. Next year, we have 3 brand new programs. We have Introduction to Medical Assisting, and then we have Nurse Aid and Personal Training. And then our outlier on this campus is Audio Production, which does these podcasts. It's our sort of one art program on the campus. We're hoping to start up a dispatch program sometime in the future, so we're looking at something with that to add to the public safety. We do a lot of industry certifications on this campus. So we've got EMS does the National Registry exams to become basic EMT. We have Nurse Aid, so they will take the CNA exam to become a certified nursing assistant. The personal training, which we'll offer next year, we'll take the American Council on Exercise exam to become a personal trainer. And then we do BLS and CPR certifications on this campus as well. And then just like the Central campus, we really focus on post-secondary workforce readiness. So both campuses, Central and North, focus on that. And we do a lot of power curriculum, so that's sort of built into our classes. So all of our students do resume workshops on this campus and leave with professional resumes and mock interviews with industry people and community members where they get feedback on the interview and the resume, and they all complete a post-secondary plan. So we've done power talks where industry people have come and speak to our students about opportunities in career and education and things like that. So that's some of the things that are happening here on North's campus.
And that's one of the things I love about this program at either the Central or the North campus is it feels like the learning is coming alive. So all the work kids have done with reading, writing, and arithmetic, now they get the opportunity to actually apply that in a place that they love working in. So that's what I really love about these programs. For our listeners' benefit, because I don't think we've done a very great job of doing this, but we're getting better, can you please talk about who can attend Warren Tech? How are they selected? How is Warren Tech Learning integrated into their high school schedule? How can a student that hears this say, I want to go there? How do I get here?
Well, of course, we serve juniors and seniors, and we serve every high school in Jeffco. We also have students from Platte Canyon, Clear Creek, and Gilpin County, and that's a contract piece that we have with those districts. Students submit an online application. Our counseling staff on both campuses look at students' grades, attendance, any of the prerequisites maybe they've taken. Some of our classes have, for example, in health sciences, they might have a biology credit requirement, or in forensic science, they might have a biology requirement in order to get into that program. So depending on the program, counselors look at those students' transcripts, they look at their attendance, behavior issues, and then they make those acceptances and then work with the home high school counselors to get their schedules arranged for the following year. And that's a very great partnership that our counseling staff have with the home high school counselors to support students coming to either campus.
So how is it decided if they're in the afternoon, in the morning? Is that driven by their schedule or driven by the schedule here?
The students submit that
Right.
through the online application. They identify whether they want to attend or a morning or afternoon session. So that's dependent upon the student. But then, of course, it goes back to the home high school in terms of being able to coordinate that schedule.
And our
But-
counselors work with them pretty closely on figuring out what's best for the student. And
And I know you
make
also
that
have
work.
students that are involved full-time. Can you talk about what that schedule may look like for that student?
Yeah, the only program that really has full-time students is our hairstyling program, and those students have already met their graduation requirements at their home high school, and so they've already planned well ahead. Maybe they came to an open house or a middle school tour, and they saw the program they wanted, and they really made the effort to get their classes done so they could attend the full day. Culinary arts has some full-day students, but very few, whereas hairstyling is the one that we really have full-day students in.
And I seem to remember last year when I was on the Hunch program down to Houston that there were some students, it seemed like they were in the STEM program, but they were also in the graphic arts program. How does that work?
Well, it's that collaboration. That's that real world
Yeah.
experience where students are working together across multiple programs to develop experiments for the space station, or they're designing things for the training at the Johnson Space Center. So depending on the program, those students could work, for example, a STEM student working with a graphic design student, working with a TV video student, working with a machining student to develop a project or an experiment for NASA. So it's that real world collaboration, and that's part of that digital academy piece that we have at the central campus, where those students are actually engaged in real world applications of the work that they're doing.
And then I remember one of the conversations we had really early on was about how these classes can fit into graduation requirements. So for instance, if I need 4 years of math to graduate or 3 years of math, how does that work for a student? How is that integrated within the content in which they're learning?
So every Warren Tech program has a core academic credit tied to it, math, English, or science, depending on the program. For example, in machining, it's an Algebra 2 trig credit. So it's a very high-end math that they're being exposed to, but they're actually using and applying it each and every day. For example, in forensic science, though, it's 3 full science credits. So a student could come here and get 3 full lab science credits done in 1 year, depending on the program. So that goes back, transcript it back to their home high school that meets graduation requirements. So we've gone through a very extensive process for reviewing the content, having district content people evaluate and approve that content. And so it's a very rigorous process that we've gone through to ensure we're meeting the rigor and also meeting the fidelity of meeting that core academics.
standards.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back after the break.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've messed up your daughter's haircut. Do you A, get spiritual,
Mom, where's the mirror?
Beauty is within. Oh.
B, find the positives,
Less time blow drying, more time texting?
or C, show empathy?
Mom, you really don't have to.
Twinsies!
I kinda love it. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. We're continuing our discussion with Warren Tech Principal Joe Shaw and Warren Tech North Assistant Principal Heather Keaton. Let's talk credits. There are a wide range of ways that students can earn not only high school academic credits, but community college credits and other certifications through Warren Tech. Tell me a little more about that.
So every Warren Tech program has concurrent college credit through Red Rocks Community College. Depending on the program, they can earn anywhere from maybe 12 Red Rocks credits all the way up to an associate degree program. 9 of the programs at Central Campus are actual associate degree programs for Red Rocks. That is, the Warren Tech teachers are actually teaching the associate degree program for Red Rocks. So we have students who walk out of here with their associate's degree before they even have their high school diploma. And the good part is it's free. They don't pay for the Red Rocks credits. It's all part of an exchange piece that we have between Red Rocks and Jeffco. So students are able to walk out of here with transcripted college credit for free. In fact, this year, just over 11,400 Red Rocks credits have been earned by the Warren Tech students.
So what would be a ballpark figure of what that credit is worth? Because I know in the past it's been $250 a credit,
Yeah, it's about-
somewhere in that range.
Yeah, it's about $2.4 million worth of free college credit.
Yeah, parents love that.
Yes.
I'm sure they
Oh,
love that.
yes.
And I'm sure kids love
And
that too
students.
because they're into what they want to get into and they're well on their way when they walk out of our classrooms.
And some of our programs, for example, at the North Campus, some of our health programs have guaranteed transfer college credit to a four-year institution via Red Rocks. So that's another great piece that they can get some guaranteed transfer 200 level classes out of the way for free.
Yeah. So can you talk to me a little bit about, like, I know when we first started this in another district I was in, there was costs around the concurrent enrollment because of textbooks or supplies and materials, or a student might have to buy sets of tools. And I think you've done some really cool and innovative ways of making those ends meet. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Some of our partnerships, we have a lot of business. We have over 180 different businesses that are part of our advisory committees. And they, in turn, then come back to help support programs by donating tools or materials or supplies. Some of our partnerships, I'll have Heather talk about our partnerships with St. Anthony's and what does that look like and how does that save costs for students. So.
There's actually a few different partnerships we have. This next year, we're beginning that course, Introduction to Medical Assisting. That course actually is designed to feed straight into Red Rocks' medical assisting program. So they will have taken courses with us and started on that degree or that certification, and they will essentially get that first part for free. So it greatly reduces the time and the money that they spend on that certification. St. Anthony Hospital, we do an ambassador program through them, and so a lot of our students are able to get that experience without having to pay extra money, and so they're able to really meet people and connect and make those industry partnerships at a young age, which is wonderful as well. And then also St. Anthony Hospital provides the clinical rotations for our EMS kids as well. So they're able to get in there and start working and job shadowing and those things early.
I love it when a plan comes together because I know that this facility with the health sciences programs that are here was designed specifically to feed into the Red Rocks North Campus down on 58th and Kipling, I believe. So I know there's been a lot of connection with Red Rocks and Warren Tech trying to blur those lines between senior year and freshman year in college and really get kids the things that they need for low cost, no cost, but also prepare them to step out into the world of work immediately. And that's the next place I'd like to go. I'm sure you could tell 1,000 stories about kids that have walked out of here and been off to be successful. Pick 3 or 4, because I think these are great stories.
Well, I think the first one that comes to my mind is Alex Domain. He is a former machining student. Was the very first NASA project, working and actually got hired by NASA to produce flight-ready hardware for other schools just by the sheer capabilities that he had, the really high-level capabilities he had in machining. But as a result, 5 years out, this student with no student debt is making $120,000 a year. I mean, no student debt. We have another student also machining. Of course, there's high demand in the manufacturing machining area. 6 years out of the program, he's making about $140,000 a year in the high-end, what we call electrical discharge machining, and it's a very technical type of machining, very high tolerance, tight tolerance type machining. And that's just one, 2 examples. We have other students who've come from for example, our power equipment program and now are in a diesel apprenticeship program starting at $56,000 a year. Again, no student debt, and now they're well on their way to a very successful career.
Well, a lot of them are using what they learn here. Some of them, are going into careers of their choice based on the programs they attended at Warren Tech, but some of them are using that as a way to pay for their schooling. So I was actually at a nail salon, a prominent nail salon here in Arvada, and the person who did my nails was graduated from our nail tech program, and she's doing environmental engineering, but she's paying for her school because of the money she's making, and she makes great money, just based on what she learned at Warren Tech. So we've got a lot of those stories. And then we've heard back from a lot of our students who went through, like the CNA program, became nurse aides, and then also put themselves through school, and then were able to have a competitive edge when applying for nursing school.
So I wanted to shift looking toward the future, and this is really a 2-part question. First of all, what's your vision for Warren Tech globally? So across our whole 775 square mile district. And then more specifically, I live in the south end of town, and really the closest place for those kids is Warren Tech Central, which is up about 6th Avenue and I-70, which is quite a haul if you live down by Chatfield or Columbine. If and when we get the opportunity to put something in down there, what might you be thinking would be some great programs in there? But let's talk big first, and then let's fold it down to a specific site.
So I think the big part for career technical education is, what's on the horizon? What are we training students for 5 or 10 or 15 years out? But it's also the partnerships that we're developing at the individual high schools. For example, we have some satellite programs that are going in to other high schools that are under the Warren Tech umbrella. And I think that's the piece that we're starting to explore even further. For example, our Vada High School, we're putting in a brand new construction trades pre-apprenticeship program, and that program is very well supported by industry. We have over 35 industry partners that want to support this program and make it successful. The other one we're doing is reopening the auto program at Stanley Lake High School under the Warren Tech umbrella. So they're going to be able to get that concurrent enrollment through Red Rocks, but they're still going to be at a high school campus. And we have another program similar at Lakewood High School that's part of our STEM project with NASA. So we're looking at those partnerships outside of the Warren Tech walls. So it's a great opportunity for us to really start thinking about how do we deliver high-end, rigorous CTE content at the high schools that's more convenient to students.
And it's definitely a balancing act, because you have to have a critical mass of students to develop and deliver a quality program. There's no question.
Right.
We're also looking into, academy models, looking at the high schools and where can we start earlier? Can we get these kids interested earlier, and then, have them feed into Warren Tech or have that partnership with those schools as well. So academy models, I think, is another piece of that vision for the future.
So now let's talk about the south end of town. If we had an opportunity to build a facility down there, what might that look like?
Well, and that's kind of the what is the vision, what's the future? But I start looking at some of the programs we have already on both campuses that are highly impacted, large wait lists. For example, game design, cybersecurity, graphics,
audio
production, our nursing programs, healthcare programs are all huge wait lists. But new programs, well, some of the exciting things, robotics would be one. Phlebotomy might be another one. The additive manufacturing, the exotic plastics and materials that they're using in all types of manufacturing, that 3D printing, that maker movement. What does that start to look like at a center for students to be able to come to and access? I think that's the exciting part, that we're right there, MIT Fab Labs. What does that start to look like for Jeffco schools? How do we're already mirroring some of it at the central campus, but how can we take it down to the south? And how do we support those students and those opportunities?
That's part of our goal, as well as we're writing a strategic plan and looking forward to the future. And it's about looking out, what are the jobs that are up and coming, and there's jobs that we don't even know exist yet. So it's really about thinking about the future for students and what we can implement that's going to best make them successful.
And some of the other programs, for example, the high-end data mining type things that you're hearing more and more about, companies using data for driving what they're doing in their areas. And I think that's going to be an interesting piece for us to start looking at and getting students to understand that data drives a lot of decisions in the world of business, and what is that impact going to be. But how do we take that type of content and make it sexy for kids to say, oh yeah, this is where I want to go and this is where I want to be. And I think that's what we're trying to do each and every day for all the Warren Tech programs, is how do we make that enticing to kids to leave their high schools and come spend a half day with us and take that risk to be able to be exposed to a new opportunity or new career.
Well, and clearly you've made that happen, because this program's grown by leaps and bounds, and hear nothing but good stuff, and love being around this program. So thanks, Joe and Heather, and thanks to our listeners too. Remember, you can catch all of our Building Bright Futures podcasts on JPS-TV, Jeffco's official YouTube channel, or on iTunes too. If you have a topic you'd like me to explore, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time.
This has been Building Bright Futures, a Jeffco podcast with Jeffco Superintendent Dan McMenemy. This is a production of Jeffco Public Schools.